What's up, everybody? Welcome back to My Twisted Life and TV. I am Poetry. You are here for another recap and review of This Is Us Season 5, Episode 8. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, please feel free to do so by hitting that subscribe button and also hit your notification bell so that way you can be notified every time I upload a video, because I do not have a consistent time frame in which I do these things. Now, this episode is called In the Room. It's going to be short. It's going to be short. Hold on. Short and sweet. It's going to be short and sweet. I am applying my papaya lip gloss right now. I might be applying too much. It is a new color. It's on my website. You can purchase my glosses at www.savadbeauty.com. Okay. I am right now trying to raise funds to finish getting some stuff upgraded, some upgraded looks, some upgraded testing sites and everything like that on the channel. And if you're into my lip balms, I have, improved a lot of recipes, and I now have them back in stock. My sweet orange. This is the vegan one. You know what I'm saying? Got my pineapple chamomile. This is one of the customer favorites. You know what I'm saying? Come get your lippies on. Get your lippies on, because your lip gloss is the bomb. You know what I'm saying? My lip gloss is the bomb. Your lips are the bomb. Hey, whatever. All right, so back to This Is Us. This is going to be more of a review than a recap. I've watched this episode twice. All on the strength of trying to get something more from it that for me just was not there. When I watch This Is Us, I intend on feeling something, feeling some type of rich emotion. That was one of the things that this show was very good at doing, was pulling out emotion from me. And since the episode with Randall going to New Orleans and learning about his mother, I have not felt much of anything. So when I'm giving these doggone reviews, it seems kind of like, what the hell is going on? Not now. When I'm giving these reviews, I just feel like I'm just kind of like talking about, like I'm giving you a book report. That's what it kind of seems like to me. So, like I said, I'm not going to really even do a recap. I'm just going to give some real thoughts and views. I think it may be some recap mixed up in there, Because like, we started the episode off, we're at the hospital with Madison. She is still on the phone with Randall and Beth. Randall was just trying to talk her through her contractions, and hang on the phone until Kevin actually gets there. It's a good thing that they ride in the car with a 14-hour drive, because they're gonna have to keep their phone plugged up, because all that doggone conversation on that video chat ain't gonna do nothing but drain the doggone battery. That's just my first thoughts right there. But it's keeping her on the phone while she's going through her labor, and it's pretty intensive, and she's, was really panicking that she was going to be doing this alone. The person who said that she didn't need nobody, I don't really need you there, Kevin, if you don't want to be. She says she's already separated from her family, so she knew her family wasn't going to be a part of the process. So just to have Randall there talking to her, going through it with her, breathing with her, all through that, during the process, is really comforting to her. Kevin, he indeed shows up while Randall is on the phone, while she is panicking, because they brought that big ass epidural needle in to stick it to her spine, and she was freaking out. So he was telling her a story about, one time when Kevin came home really, really drunk, and he was singing the doo bop, doo 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 bop. I forgot how the Hanson song go, but he was singing that. So he wanted her to sing along, make her feel like she's part of the family, because this is something that the family does. Everybody sing along. Beth over there singing. And while he's doing this, Kevin walks in. Like, oh my God, you made it. Okay. Well, last week they had already gave us 1,000 spoilers. With the previews and the sneak previews that's coming in between. We already knew Kevin was going to make it there before she gave birth to those babies. Okay, my problem with the show, and some of us mentioned this in the comment section below, they are in the middle of a doggone pandemic. I was going to call it a panoramic. I don't know what is with us these days. Everybody that's talking about this now, we call it something else. It's a panoramic. It's a Panasonic. It's, it's something, panda. It's something other than the pandemic. But we going through a pandemic right now. You at the height of it. The borders are shutting down. Canada's locking people out. And Kevin seamlessly makes the way across the border to Seattle. He drops this man off at the hospital. He's unmasked. The man is unmasked, and the staff meets them outside without an appointment. Now, y'all know during that time of year, hospitals like, if you come in here, you need to call first, right? Drops this man off. It just takes off. Neither one of them are masked up then, and he gets to the airport. Can't find his ID because his ID is left on the side of the car that was burning on fire. And he can't get to the airport. And they cut us off last week with that. So I was like, where's his passport? Because he needed his passport to cross the fucking border, first of all. He was going to fly out of Vancouver first back to LA. He needed a passport to do that. Where is your passport? Okay. And we were speculating in the comment section last week that maybe that's what that TSA agent was going to do. It's going to say, hey, where your luggage at? We can go get your passport, or, something like that. Or ask him about the passport. He said, has a bright idea like, oh, God, but I have a passport. Because he didn't drop his passport. He dropped his wallet. But come to find out, he claims that the head of the TSA is the ones that helped him out. He owes them a Christmas gift, a birthday card, or, an invite to the bar mitzvah. He owes them something, right? And I'm like, makes no sense. That makes no sense to me. And then he says, it don't even matter. None of that is important. That, I think, was a conversation for us as the viewers. That he's telling, because we all got questions like, how the hell he gonna get there? You know what I'm saying? And then to learn that the head of the TSA helped him out some kind of way that they're not gonna tell us about. He telling us that don't matter. That what matters right now is that my wife is gonna have, my girlfriend is about to have babies, my babies. You know what I'm saying? So quit worrying about why or how I got her. That's really what he was saying. Okay. So I feel like they was talking to us, the viewers, because I'm still like, what? I need to know how he did that. You know what I'm saying? There's other people out here in the world who ain't celebrities that may need to have lost their ID or identification, and they need to get back into the United States during the middle of a doggone panoramic and see, how you do that. You know what I'm saying? What is TSA agent in Seattle airport that got all this pulled just to make you bypass stuff like that? Okay. Anywho, what did he do with the car? I be having questions like that too. I be having like this basic question. What did he do with the rental car? Because he didn't pick up the car in Seattle. What did he do with the car? But okay. So he makes it back, and he sees that Randall is on there with Madison, and he's like relieved. Shocked and relieved at the same doggone time. Like, bro, I can't believe that you came through for me like this. And Randall was like, hey, we brothers, man. After all that we've been through, we said some mean and ugly things to each other. Then Kevin recited back to Randall, like, you know what? I am just trying to live up to you. I only will still be attentive to the man that you are. That's the type of person you are. And Randall was like, look here, bro. It is what it is. I've said some mean things. You said some mean things. And we will talk about it. But what we're not going to do, talk about it, is right now. This is not the time. Right now is not the time. Nothing else matters right now but these beautiful babies that you are bringing into the Pearson family. Okay, so on Kate's end, she had went down to San Pedro because Ellie is having a baby. Because this is the C-19, she is the only one that's allowed in the room. No other visitors. So Toby has to sit out on the parking lot. The birthing process seems to be moving along really slow. They've been there 8 hours. I am very, very surprised that they let them be in that room with no mask on. The whole time I've been at the doctor's office, I had to keep my mask on the entire time I'm in the hospital, unless I'm taking my temperature, and then I have to pull it up and then pull it back down. But Kate is sitting up in the room with no unmasked and everything. I'm like, make it make sense. But okay, neither here nor there, because I'm petty picking right now. Neither here nor there. Toby, like I said, is outside stressing out. Baby Jack is with the sitter. Like I said, he can't come into the hospital, so he's out there tailgating. Pretty much, he got his own little private tailgate party going on. While he's out there, a old man pulls up and say, "Hey, you in my spot?" Now, there's like 3 cars on the fucking parking lot. 3. And they seem to be social distancing themselves, right? So Toby first like, bruh, just from my peripheral, I see 10 other spots right there, and I ain't even looked around. So the man is like, well, that's my spot, number 157, you need to move. My question is, and I don't, this ain't, I don't understand this process, right? Every character that they have made on this show, if my memory serves me correctly, that has some type of affliction. Nicky with his PTSD, his alcoholism, the neighbor with his stroke and physical handicap, the William initially. It was other people too that I can't remember off the top of my head. But every time they introduce a character that has some type of heartache or heartbreak or has been thrown a curveball in the world, they are the most, I won't say hateful, mean and ornery person. As if because the world has thrown them a curveball, it gives them the right to act like a bitch to people. I don't understand this mentality. Like, I had this conversation when we was talking about the neighbor with the stroke, and people was like, he done been through some hard times. I don't give a fuck. Going through hard times does not justify you being an ass to me for no fucking reason. There was another way you could approach me, sir. You could have pulled up and say, I'm sorry. If I can get that spot from you, it'd be really appreciative. And here's why. Okay? I shouldn't have to be going through this back and forth with you. And he like, look here, sir, pick another spot. I'm waiting for my daughter to be born. Oh, and I'm waiting for my wife to find out if she gonna live or die. Why is your issue bigger than mine? Okay? Childbirth is fucking hard. Okay? There's no guarantee that this child is gonna make it. There's no guarantee that this mother's gonna make it. Especially since we in a fucking panoramic right now. Okay? I understand you grieving. You feeling some strong hurt right now, sir. But don't act no bitch to me. I'm not moving. I'm sorry. You just turned on my petty. You could find another fucking parking spot. That's what you could do right now. And I know y'all probably like poetry. His wife was dying. Possibly. Do not come to me acting a motherfucking fool to me and then expect me to just all of a sudden soften up because you got a sad story to tell me. I'm just not. I don't feel it. I don't understand it. And if y'all watch me review this show over the last 5 years, y'all understand what I'm saying. Y'all realize I have not changed my stance on that. Anytime they introduce a character like this who has some type of, like I said, been thrown some type of curveball in life, people keep trying to justify that bullshit. They angriness or they purposeful bitchy attitudes that they have towards other people. You want me to give you some fucking compassion, but you coming at me sideways. I can't. I'm sorry. There's a whole nother way to go about that. A whole nother way to go about that. But luckily, Toby was one of the people that has a bigger heart than poetry. Because he moved. He felt the death trump birth. The possibility of death trump birth. So he moved to another park spot. The man went on to go tell on this whole story about how spot number 157 was his wife's favorite number. That's the house that they first bought, the address of the house they first bought. And, that story just could have been told from the beginning. You didn't have to come at me like, you finna move. Or you didn't have to come at me like that. I don't have no fucking compassion for people like that. I don't. It just don't. I don't. It just. I think I may have a little bit more compassion if you were the one who was dealing with the life and death, your own physical being self. I may have a little bit more compassion, but it's still, I'm like, you can come at me different. You can come at me hella motherfucking different. So the man had like a whole dashboard full of piggies. Little they were ceramic. I thought they was like little bobbleheads at first. They were ceramic piggies that he had on the dashboard. His wife loved pigs. She collected them everywhere she went. You know, just started collecting all these different little pigs. And when the man said his wife's name was Rose, because he kept saying my Rose, my Rose, my Rose, I said that's gonna end up being that baby's middle name. Toby was out there on the parking lot. He was given the choice because he couldn't be in the birthing room to pick out the middle name for the daughter. He had a whole list. At first, he was having trouble even making a list. But once he started making a list, he had a whole list of names. But once this man said his wife's name was Rose, I was like, there you go. That's going to be the middle name. It was predictable for me. And, Rose was coming home. She made it. She was going to go on home. She was coming out. She was taking her off for the respirator and everything. So, yeah, she lived. And in the meantime, Kate's inside the hospital dealing with Ellie and going through her own emotional battles right there, right? Like I say, everything was going fine at first until the baby was born. And then Ellie wanted to hold the baby. Now, normally in cases of adoption, they encourage the mother to not hold the baby because once they hold that baby, they could have a physical bond, or they could start getting a bond or connect with the child, and they may not want to let it go. But Kate is like, I don't want to tell the birth mama she can't hold her own baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I, if I'm not mistaken, she still has the right at that time to change her mind. I don't remember how the process works, but I think on the day of the birth, she still has the right to change her mind and say, no, I don't want to give my baby up for adoption. And that's the route that it seemed like it was going. And she was like, I need to hold my baby. Oh my God, look at this little goober. I'm telling you, I don't know who these kids are. They got 3 of the most adorablest babies ever. I love me some kids. Y'all know I love me some goobers. Oh, these babies were so cute. She wanted to hold the little goober. She wanted to touch the little goober. And then she asked Kate to leave the room. Kate was like, okay. And I'm thank goodness that Kate wasn't calling Toby and letting him know what was going on, because Toby would probably been freaking out in that parking lot. But yeah, Ellie was like, she just wanted a little time just to like talk to her and explain to her why I am giving you up for adoption. And she still indeed, said you going to a good home, you going to a good family, you gonna like your new parents, whatever, right? So Ellie did go ahead and give Kate the baby, but Kate was in there stressing out. I was like worried. I was worried too, because I was like, wait a minute now, because Ellie seemed kind of wishy-washy, flippy-floppy and everything. So I wasn't sure what was going to really happen, because and then again, I could not remember. I was still like, heck, is this the baby? Is this the baby that grew up? So little Haley Rose, that's the new baby, right? Kevin and Madison, they birthed their twins, a boy and a girl, and they were Nikki or Nicholas and was it Francine? If it wasn't Francine, it was Francesca. It was a Fran name. They basically, and he was telling Randall what the baby's name was, and Randall was like, "Oh, Nicholas, Uncle Nicky would be proud of that." And then he said, "But Francine, that's Francis. That's interesting. I can't remember what the damn name was. It was a Fran name." And he was like, "We're gonna call her Franny for short." He was like, "Okay, Franny's cute. Franny's cute. Franny ain't cute either." It's such an elder name, but the baby was named after Madison's grandmother. So we got little Nikki, little Franny, and then we got little Haley Rose, who are now technically the big 3. I found it interesting, the dynamic that We do have another set of twins, a boy and a girl, with Nicholas and Franny. And then we have the adopted baby to be brought in. And all three were born on the same day, even though Randall was born the day before them. But that's neither here nor there. They all three are born on the same day. And Kate said these are the new big three. Which ties in to the fact that what Jack and Becca had going on. You know, the kids are growing up. They don't want to go to the cabin with them and go hanging out with them at the cabin. And Rebecca was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go have some us time, some we time without the kids. Jack was really hesitant to do so, right? Because he was like, they only got a few more years left with us before they go out and be grown on their own. I want to spend as much time as I want with them. But, Rebecca sold him on the idea to go and let the kids had a friend time with their friends, right? But they get them to the cabin, and Rebecca is like going in on everything that's wrong with their children. She was so sick of Kate reciting 90210. Said she was going to be a bad recapper. I guess she couldn't have no YouTube channel doing this. And then she was talking about how Kevin and Randall were always going at each other, saying the word "but" much. She was so happy none of this was going to happen. And every time they showed a scene of her, she continuously saying something about the kids. And you can see Jack is like, here we go again. That's the type of look he had on his face, like, here we go again, right? And so he was giving her like a whole lot of attitude about the way that she's been ragging on the kids. She's like, oh my God, we got bliss, we finally free, we finally away from them. And he's just like, I don't understand what's wrong with you. Why you like acting like this? Like, this is the last moments that we get to have with our children. It was like a roof leaking over in the corner, and it had got some papers wet, some boxes that was down on the floor. They got the papers wet. And the kids had some like finger paintings and stuff like that. They had been collecting and holding on to some keepsakes, right? So it got wet. And Becca was like, okay, it's no problem. We can hang them up on the clothesline, dry them out. But like, Jack is like, no, they freaking ruined. Everything good about their childhood is being destroyed. This is what this is a symbol of. The fact that our children don't want to hang out with us no more. Everything, our family is being destroyed and ripped apart at this point. And Becca kept saying, just like that picture with their hands, our handprints, the paint's now dripping into each other. That's just a symbol that we're going to always be together. We're going to always have each other back. We're going to be there for the big moments and for the little moments. And when she made that statement, I was like, Becca, boy, I know you didn't mean this, but you couldn't have been more wrong. You could have been more wrong, because Jack's time was coming to an end real soon. All those big moments that you thought that he was going to be there for, they over. He wasn't there. He wasn't there for when they graduated high school. He wasn't there for when they got married. He wasn't there for when they had their first babies. You know what I'm saying? So back in that day, they framed that picture just as a keepsake to say we're always with each other no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Even when we're not around, we're still with each other. So like in present day, Kate was staring up at that same ceiling or the same wall, and I thought she was having she kept looking at the picture, and Miguel was like, what's going on? So she kind of explained to him what that picture was about, and she wanted to tell him, we never really talk about this, but I want you to know that you are part of my life. You are part of my family. You are part of this family. We don't want you to feel like you're playing second fiddle to Jack. Always I keep that as a reminder that he's always with us, but you have my heart now. You are a part of me. We are one. No kumbaya type situation. Which I find it weird that they never really had that conversation. Like, you married your husband's best friend. Y'all ain't had this conversation, about where his place at in his family, especially early on when the kids was having issues with y'all being together and his kids was having issues with y'all being together. Y'all didn't sit down and have this conversation. I found that weird, but okay, we're going to keep it moving. So all through the doggone episode, you notice that they were looking at their cell phones. They were looking at their iPads. They was trying to get internet signal. They was FaceTiming. They was texting. They was doing all kind of stuff, phone calls. That was the main thing that was tying all these scenes together, every last one of them, right? So we had another story going on in the background. There was a young Argentinian lady and a young Indian man that had met on the side of a road. I want to say it probably must have been like a little international spot where a lot of foreigners got together and mingled, right? He was studying to be in computer, what's the word? Not computer technology. Computer programming. That's what he was studying to do, and like I said, but they both were just fresh, new into this country. 4 years later, we show that, they married, they got a kid, but he ain't coming home like he's supposed to. And she, like, he said, he every time that he speaks, he starts speaking in scientific lingo. And mama like, look here, break it down to me like I'm a 4-year-old. If I'm finna like forgive you and understand why you ain't coming home for dinner when you say you coming home each and every night, I need to understand about what you're doing and why it's so important. Well, it turns out that he was the inventor of the algorithm. I want to get this wrong. He was the inventor. He created the program that allows us to video chat, allows us to text. The government had already started with the web, and now they're finna start making it public to everybody. And he was the one who was at the forefront of this whole process. He had only been in America 4 years, and he became history himself. I think his name was Sneed. Is that what it was? I don't have the episode here. I had it last night. I had it on my phone because I wanted to get his name. But every time that they introduce characters like that, I'd be like, what's their story? How they tie in? And in this particular case, we had the one guy who tied in with the doggone crock pot to kill Jack. And then now we have everybody using these devices on their phone, is that another, Now we have that man tying in. All his story was weaved into their story, and shows how he was able to keep this family who was in so many different parts of the United States connected. They were able to call Uncle Nicky. He was able to see the baby's faces. They was able to call Randall while they driving from New Orleans to Philadelphia, stay on a doggone face call with Madison. Kevin, he was able to make amends with Randall through the phone. And when you're able to see somebody's face, you're able to really capture the really good emotion, and you can see all the stages of emotions that they're feeling while being face to face with them. They was able to connect with Kate. All the 3 new Pearsons, the 3 new babies, they got to meet each other, even though they don't know they met each other through the telephone, through video chatting, video calling, and texting, things like that. So I think that was I like that part. I like the fact that they introduced a bit of history to us, a real factual history to us through this episode. One of the things that I think is happening here, when Kate made the statement that said this is the new big 3, I think from this point on, we are going to start progressing to those older years. So, you know what I'm saying? As the children are older, we're going to start involving them in their lives more and less of the original big 3. They're going to still have an important role to play, but I think we're going to see less of them and more of the new big 3 as we close out this TV show. Because as you're aware, season 6 next year is the final season of This Is Us. So it's supposed to end on a happy note, but they're going to take us through some trials and tribulations to get to that point. But I do think this is the direction that this is finna go. We're finna start taking on more and more of the new big 3 as they grow up and how they are really interwoven into the Pearson family. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. Like I said, this wasn't a real recap. It was just my thoughts and views. But let me know what y'all thought about this episode as well. Are y'all missing the emotional connect that I'm missing? Or it's still just as good as it has been? I mean, there's still, I can't knock the writers. The writers still are putting out good dialogue and even giving us some content to move along everybody's story. But I'm just not feeling like I'm sorry, y'all. I sit there and I watch the episode like this. I watched this episode twice like this. And those of y'all who know me know usually when I'm really engaged, I'm live tweeting like a mug. You know what I'm saying? I'm using my technology that old boy created. Live tweeting like a mug. You know, throughout the episode, which makes me have to watch the second time because I'm live tweeting, so I miss some stuff. But not this time. I wasn't drawn into it. I know the birth of the babies is a beautiful thing, but that's pretty much it for me. All right, so that's it for me for talking. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already done so. Peace.